Solar energy. What can solar power be used for? Solar power is generally used for generating electricity, ventilation, water heating, lighting, and also a ton of other uses. What traditional fuel sources solar energy aiming to reduce? Um, Solar energy generally competes with the entirety of the fossil fuel industry. Its main competitors are petroleum, natural gas, and coal. It is competing in that industry though, so it is competing with most, if not all, fossil fuels. How is solar easily renewed? Solar is renewed um, because, well, there's just constant supply of the sun. It doesn't really use anything that can deteriorate or impact the environment. So it's just really clean, and you have a constant supply of the sun, so you don't really run out of energy. What is the cost of using solar? For the average person, solar is typically around $10,000 to $25,000 for solar panels. Um, that's just for the average residential area. Maintenance can cost anywhere from $300 to $700. You need it like about once every season. End costs vary because depending on the amount of sunlight that your panels get, you can sell back energy to the electricity company. And so the end costs kind of vary depending on the effectiveness of your panels. What are the positive aspects of using solar power? Um, it lowers your cost of electricity a lot, just because you don't need to buy the energy once you have the panels, so it's just kind of a fixed rate. You can also sell energy back to the company, um, so that also just kind of takes away some of that initial price. Reducing of greenhouse gases. That's just better for the environment. Um, it also Solar panels also prevent you from being susceptible to price rises in the traditional electricity industry. Um, you can also earn money from selling energy. Um, Also, solar panels have really long lifespans of about 30 years. Um, so you don't really need to spend that 25,000 often. It's just kind of every couple decades. What are the negative aspects of using solar? There's honestly not many. You can't really put solar panels on many on different types of roofs, or just depending on how much sunlight they get. Like if your roof is pointing away from where the sun is, you don't really want to put panels there because they won't be very effective. Also, if you live somewhere where there's not very much daylight, or if you have cloudy weather a lot, it'll also affect the effectiveness of your panels. Panels are also pretty pricey, but if you can get over um, that initial price, you'll just be set in the long term. What is the science behind solar? Um, there are two kinds of solar power, pretty much. There's one kind that uses mirrors, and it captures the electromagnetic radiation that comes from the sun, and that converts then into usable energy. Solar panels can also be used with photovoltaics. When sun shines onto the cells of the panel, the energy creates an electric charge, which then causes electric current to flow throughout the system. Solar power, solar power is gathered from the sun. So if you just have panels pointing towards the sun, they can just constantly gather electricity, and you can keep making energy. How is solar power stored for later use? Um, your excess energy is stored in batteries. So, solar panels generally collect more energy than you use in your house. So that excess energy is stored in the batteries, and then you can sell those back to the electricity supplier. What are the waste byproducts of solar? In solar powers, they're made with chemicals like lead and cadmium. Those can be kind of hard to dispose of, so often they're just kind of left in landfills, and they poorly impact the environment. What is keeping solar power from widespread use? Right now, it is pretty widespread, although it is um, growing bigger day by or year by year. Um, Fossil fuel competitors really kind of try to drive out the industry though, because the fossil fuel industry has developed infrastructure and a system that they can use to be effective. And also fossil fuel companies buy out clean energy companies to minimize the competition. So, what is solar power expected to be easily accessible? It is pretty easily accessible now, but it's supposed to be like even more by 2050.